There comes a moment in every life when the world feels unbearably heavy, when dreams seem distant, prayers feel unanswered, and the road ahead appears swallowed by darkness. It is in this moment when a person whispers to themselves, "I've lost all hope," that the universe leans in with the greatest opportunity for transformation. The point of collapse is never the end. It is the silent doorway to your rebirth. When everything breaks apart, it is not punishment, it is preparation. And while the mind screams that you are finished, the soul knows that this is the exact place where the old version of you dies, so the awakened version can rise. This message is not for those who are comfortable. This is for the people standing in the ruins of what once was, those who feel forgotten, overlooked, and exhausted. This is for the ones whose hearts have been stretched so thin that they can barely beat, because what you think is the end is actually the sacred pause before the breakthrough. When you lose all hope, something extraordinary happens beneath the surface of your despair. Your ego loosens its grip, your fear begins to collapse, your old identity starts dissolving, and in the empty space that remains, your true power begins to move. You are not hopeless. You are shedding a life that was too small for who you are becoming. The universe removes only what cannot travel, the next chapter of your destiny. Your breakdown is the universe clearing the path for your breakthrough. Every closed door, every delayed prayer, every painful ending is shaping you for something you cannot yet see. What you feel as abandonment is actually alignment. What feels like silence is actually divine recalibration. You are not being punished, you are being redirected. You are not being ignored, you are being whispered to in a language only transformation understands. And the greatest truth every manifestor must understand is this: the moment you lose hope is the moment your old reality loses its power over you. When nothing is left to cling to, you finally become available for the life you were always meant to live. Pain becomes your teacher, emptiness becomes your canvas, silence becomes your sacred reset, and surrender becomes the key that unlocks the manifestation you've been chasing for years. You have reached this point not because you are weak, but because you are ready. Ready for a higher path, ready for a deeper identity, ready to step into the version of yourself who can hold the abundance, peace, and success you've been asking for. When you lose all hope, your soul finally speaks louder than your fear, and that is where your true journey begins. Not when life is easy, but when life tests you beyond your limits. If you're listening to this message, it is because your spirit needed a reminder. The darkness you're facing is not destroying you, it is awakening you. You are standing at the edge of your old life, and in the shadows your new life is waiting to be claimed. Losing hope feels like failure because you were taught that strength means always believing, always pushing, always staying positive. But in truth, losing hope is the first step toward your spiritual reconstruction. Hope attached to old circumstances keeps you trapped. It holds you hostage to a reality that no longer serves your growth. When you lose hope, what you're actually losing is your attachment to what was never meant for you. The universe is pulling you away from illusions so it can reveal what is real, what is aligned, and what is destined. This is not failure. This is divine intervention. You were never meant to carry the weight of outdated dreams or expired beliefs. Think of a seed buried beneath the soil. The darkness surrounding it is not its death, it is its womb. The pressure does not crush it, it activates it. The seed must crack, must break open, must lose every bit of its old form before it can rise into the sunlight. Losing hope is the cracking open of your seed. Your old identity must break so your true power can emerge. Your old patterns must collapse so your new reality can be born. The moment you feel like you've lost everything is often the moment life is preparing to give you more than you ever imagined. When you lose hope, you stop forcing. You stop fighting the current of life with exhausted arms. You stop trying to control outcomes that were never yours to hold. And in that surrender, you unlock something more powerful than hope. You unlock trust. Trust is the energy that aligns you with miracles. Trust is the vibration that calls abundance toward you without resistance. Trust is the frequency that transforms despair into clarity. Losing hope strips away the illusions so that trust can take over. The universe does not operate on your timeline. It operates on your readiness, and sometimes it must remove things, people, or paths that you believe are essential, only to show you later that they were blocking your growth. When you lose hope in something that wasn't meant for you, you're actually being saved. Protection often arrives disguised as disappointment. Redirection often feels like failure until the blessing reveals itself. Losing hope forces you to look inward, not outward. It turns your attention back to your own inner power. It teaches you to rebuild from within instead of relying on the external world to validate your worth. It is not failure to lose hope, it is rebirth. It is the moment your spirit reclaims its authority. It is the moment you stop begging for a smaller life and begin preparing for a greater one. You do not rise because everything is perfect. You rise because everything has fallen apart and your soul refuses to stay down. Losing hope is the purification of your path, the clearing of your energy, and the invitation to step into your highest timeline. You are not failing. You are transforming. Every breakdown carries a breakthrough concealed inside it, but most people never recognize it because they judge the moment too quickly. When life collapses, when relationships fall apart, when opportunities slip from your hands, your first instinct is to believe something has gone wrong. But what if nothing is going wrong? What if everything is going right, just not according to the story your mind created? Every spiritual awakening begins with disruption. Your soul uses discomfort as a loudspeaker, pushing you out of the version of life you've outgrown. The breakdown is not chaos, it is recalibration. It is your inner being rearranging your external world to match the frequency of who you are becoming. You cannot hold a new destiny with old patterns. You cannot step into abundance with a scarcity mindset. You cannot rise into your next level while clinging to environments that shrink you. So life shakes you, not to break you, but to break you open. Think of the moments that shaped you the most. They weren't the peaceful seasons. They weren't the days where everything went according to plan. Your deepest growth came from the storms, the losses, the disappointments, the endings that felt like personal failures. But when you look back, you realize those moments carved strength into your bones. Those moments taught you resilience. Those moments forced you to rise beyond your limitations. And the same is happening now. The breakdown you're facing is your soul's way of saying you're ready for more. Breakthroughs rarely arrive wrapped in comfort. They often come disguised as confusion. You lose a job only to discover a path you were born for. You lose a relationship only to rediscover your worth. You lose your certainty only to gain a deeper connection to your intuition. The universe removes things that don't serve your growth before delivering what does. And yes, it is painful, but pain is the price of expansion. When the universe asks you to release something, it means it has outlived its purpose in your story. Holding on will only create suffering. Letting go creates space for miracles. The breakthrough behind your breakdown is not external, it is internal. It is the moment you stop searching outside yourself for validation and realize the source of your power has always been within. It is the moment you stop living in survival mode and begin rising into creation mode. It is the shift from fear to trust, from doubt to awareness, from despair to deep soul clarity. You become someone who can stand in the fire without breaking. You become someone who understands that storms don't destroy you, they refine you. When you reach this point, the universe opens doors that were previously blocked by your own limiting beliefs. New possibilities reveal themselves. New ideas flow. New people enter your life. Your energy changes and life responds to that energy. You are experiencing a breakdown because the structure of your old life cannot support the weight of your new one. Something bigger is calling you. Something higher is guiding you. And to step into that destiny, you must first break apart the illusions that held you small. The breakthrough behind your breakdown is this. You are awakening to who you truly are. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be. Every tear, every setback, every sleepless night is preparing you for a chapter more powerful than anything you've ever lived before. Your breakdown is not the end of your story. It is the turning point. Finding your power again does not begin with motivation. It begins with honesty, the courage to face yourself without judgment. When your world collapses, the temptation is to numb yourself, ignore your emotions, or run from your pain. But reclaiming your power requires the opposite. You must feel everything. You must sit with the discomfort and allow it to speak. Your emotions are not enemies. They are messengers, guiding you toward the parts of yourself that need healing, attention, and release. The moment you stop resisting your feelings, you regain control. Your power does not return when life becomes easier. It returns when you become stronger than your circumstances. The first step to finding your power again is to reclaim your mind. Your thoughts shape your reality, and when hope is lost, the mind becomes a battlefield. You begin believing the lies of your fear. I'm not enough. I'll never rise again. My best days are over. But these thoughts are not truth. They are echoes of your wounded self. To reclaim your power, you must challenge these thoughts. Replace them gently but firmly with new beliefs. I am healing. I am transforming. I am being guided. As your inner dialogue changes, your energy shifts. And energy is the language of manifestation. The second step is to reconnect with your inner stillness. When you feel hopeless, your nervous system is overwhelmed. Your body is in survival mode. But your power lives in the present moment, not in fear of the future or regrets of the past. Whether through meditation, deep breathing, or sitting in silence, finding your stillness helps you return to yourself. It allows you to hear your intuition again, a voice that never disappears but becomes harder to recognize when your mind is loud. In stillness, you remember who you are beyond the chaos. The third step is to rebuild in small, intentional actions. Power does not return in one dramatic moment. It returns in gentle steps, getting out of bed, taking care of your body, writing down your thoughts, choosing gratitude, saying no to energy that drains you, saying yes to things that nourish your soul. Each small action is a declaration. I am not done. I am rising. I still choose myself. These tiny steps accumulate and, over time, reconstruct the foundation of your inner strength. The fourth step is forgiveness, not for others, but for yourself. Forgive yourself for falling apart. Forgive yourself for taking longer than you expected. Forgive yourself for trusting the wrong people. Forgive yourself for ignoring your intuition. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is liberation. You cannot rise while chained to your past. The moment you release self-blame, you create space for self-love, and self-love is the strongest force in your transformation. The final step to finding your power again is surrender. Not giving up. Surrender. Surrender means trusting that life is unfolding in ways you may not yet understand. It means accepting that uncertainty is not danger. It is possibility. When you surrender, you stop fighting the current and allow yourself to be guided toward alignment. You stop forcing solutions and start receiving breakthroughs. Surrender is where your power becomes infinite, because you are no longer acting from fear, you are acting from faith. Finding your power is not a return to who you were, it is an evolution into who you are becoming. And the person you are becoming is stronger, wiser, clearer, and far more powerful than the one who began this journey. There comes a moment in every soul's journey where life feels unfair, confusing, and painfully unclear. You look at what you've lost and wonder why it had to happen. You replay the moments, the decisions, the dreams, and the plans that once felt so certain, now shattered, now unreachable. But the truth is this: nothing is ever taken from you unless something greater is waiting to replace it. The universe is not punishing you, it is preparing you. It is not denying you, it is redirecting you. Every closed door is an act of protection. Every ending is a rerouting. Every loss is a hidden blessing disguised in a language the mind can't immediately translate. You were never meant to stay where you were. Something about your environment, your habits, or your connections couldn't carry you into the next version of your destiny. So life stepped in and cleared the path for you. And yes, it hurt. But that pain was the sign that you were being moved, not destroyed. Think back to a time when you desperately wanted something that never happened, a job, a relationship, a dream that you were so sure was right for you. At that time, you thought the universe had abandoned you, but now, with distance, you can see how it redirected you to something far better, something you couldn't have imagined back then. This is exactly what is happening now. Life is not taking from you, it is exchanging. It is replacing what you thought you needed with what you're truly meant for. But to receive it, you must let go of the belief that you have been defeated. You have not been defeated. You have been chosen for a new direction. Redirection often begins with confusion. The mind cannot understand what the soul already knows. You feel lost because your soul has outgrown the old path, but the new one is not visible yet. This in-between stage is sacred. It is the chrysalis phase, the space where the caterpillar dissolves into nothing before becoming a butterfly. You may not feel like you're transforming, but you are. Your old identity is melting away, making space for something more aligned, more authentic, more powerful. This is not a step backward. It is an elevation disguised as uncertainty. When something leaves your life, whether it's a person, an opportunity, or a version of yourself, it is because the vibration no longer matches your becoming. You cannot stay attached to what dims your light and expect the universe to bless you with what expands it. So life removes what you cannot walk into your future with. It removes distractions, illusions, limitations, and sometimes even comfort. It clears the noise so you can finally hear your intuition. It breaks your heart so it can break your patterns. It empties your hands so they can be filled again with something higher. You are not losing, you are being repositioned. When you trust that nothing is lost, you stop grieving the past and start anticipating the future. You begin to see signs, synchronicities, and subtle confirmations that you are being guided. You feel ideas flow again. You notice opportunities appear where there were none. You realize the universe has always been working behind the scenes, arranging everything with divine timing. And in that realization, you relax, you breathe again. You understand that life is wise, far wiser than your temporary emotions. Everything that leaves creates space. Everything that arrives has purpose. Everything that confused you will one day make perfect sense. You are not abandoned. You are aligned. You are not unlucky. You are being upgraded. You are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt into someone unstoppable. You finally realize that every loss was a redirection. You stop resisting. You start flowing. And in that flow, everything meant for you begins to find you effortlessly. Rising again after losing hope is not about returning to who you once were. It is about rising as someone entirely new, someone stronger, wiser, clearer, and unshakably grounded in their truth. The person you were before the struggle didn't know their own resilience. They didn't know how deeply they could feel, how powerfully they could transform, or how strongly they could rise from the ashes. But now you know. You know what you've survived. You know what you've endured. And this awareness alone has changed you at your core. You are no longer the version of yourself that breaks under pressure. You are the version that bends, adapts, learns, and grows. And this is the version that will rise into a life more aligned with your soul's calling. Rising again begins with acceptance, accepting that the past cannot be changed and that it does not need to be. Everything you walk through has shaped your wisdom. Every painful moment has carved intuition into your being. You are carrying lessons that will guide you for the rest of your life. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from experience. And experience is the foundation of confidence. When you rise again, you don't rise blindly. You rise with clarity. You rise with awareness. You rise with the understanding that nothing external defines you anymore. You are defined by your inner strength, your inner alignment, your inner truth. The next step in rising again is choosing your new story. You cannot move forward while repeating the narrative of your wounds. You must rewrite the way you speak about your life, your future, and yourself. Instead of saying I was broken, you say I was transformed. Instead of saying I lost everything, you say I made space for what's meant for me. Instead of saying I don't know where I'm going, you say I am being guided towards something extraordinary. The story you choose becomes the reality you live. Your words carry vibration, and your vibration attracts your future. From here, rising again becomes a spiritual unfolding. You begin to feel your power returning in waves. You feel inspiration stirring again. You feel energy coming back to your body. You feel ideas awakening within you. These are signs that your alignment is strengthening. Your spirit is rising before your circumstances do. And soon your outer reality will catch up, reflecting the power that is returned within. But rising again is not only about you, it is about the purpose born from your journey. Your pain has equipped you with compassion. Your darkness has taught you to value light. Your struggles have given you a depth that will help others one day. Nothing you walked through was wasted. Your story carries healing for someone else. Your resilience will become a roadmap for someone who feels lost. Your transformation will inspire someone who still believes their pain is permanent. Rising again means stepping into the role life has prepared you for, a role of strength, wisdom, and divine purpose. And finally, rising again requires one promise to yourself. Never abandon yourself again. Never silence your intuition. Never shrink to make others comfortable. Never ignore the whispers of your soul. Stand tall in who you are becoming. Stand tall in the lessons that shaped you. Stand tall in the clarity you've earned. Because the new chapter unfolding in front of you is not just another phase. It is the doorway into the life you have always deserved. You are rising, you are healing, you are stepping into alignment. And nothing can stop what is meant for you now.